What is up, everyone? My name is Jesse. This is the Auditorium. I react to video game music as a musician myself. Today is a request for Sir Caliber on Patreon. Not sure what this is. It says Guilty Gear Sound Complete box, but it just says Drunkard does make wise remarks from the Arc System Works official channel. And this is, of course, composed by Daisuke, and can't find much about it. The only thing I googled was the name of the song, and it seems to be in different games, so maybe it's like a kind of important song amongst Guilty Gear. But I don't know what this one is from. It looks official though. That's all that matters. But I don't know what game it's from or something. So I'm just gonna say Guilty Gear Sound Complete box. This is Drunkard does make wise remarks. And let's go. It's Guilty Gear. Oh, that sounds like old Guilty Gear. Sounds like old skate punk. This is one of the more like major sounding, and by that I mean like music major. It sounds very happy that I've ever been Guilty Gear. Sounds like a promo material, like you just unlocked da-da-da. Like it says rest not allowed. Okay, interesting. For many reasons, right? Most of my Guilty Gear intake has been Strive. And let me actually go back a little further than that. So, Guilty Gear as a whole on this channel has been such a anomaly, right? Because I've always been into fighting games, and I've always been into fighting game music, specifically. I'm a big advocate of it. And I've seen and I watch multiple tournaments still to this day. And I've always just been a big fan of, watching high level play, no matter what it is. And I've seen Guilty Gear throughout the years, not a whole lot, but enough to know what's going on. I'm not completely familiar with all the characters. I know some of them by name and just very few, right? I know very little about Guilty Gear. But when it came to me listening to Guilty Gear for the first time, which was here on the channel, it was Smell the Game from Strive. It kind of put this whole, like, oh, like finally, like, you know, this is what people have been, because people have been telling me forever, like, they just assume that I've heard it before, but I haven't. It's because when I'm watching these tournaments and stuff, you can almost never hear the game, right? You hear like maybe some sound effects, but you got commentators talking. Music is low, so I had no idea what was going on, and I'm not even paying attention either, you know. So when it came time to just like, oh, like this is Guilty Gear, you know, it was really exciting, and I've kind of worked my way down. Still, it's mostly been Strive, but I've worked my way from newer to older. This might be one of the oldest ones. At least it sounds that way. And man, there's been such a change of sound. Not in a good or bad way per se. It's just clearly evident. Like either more budget or they just got better at it, or whatever the case is. But when I think of, like, for example, Strive, which is current, it's very theatrical. It's heavy, and it sounds, you know, it's mixed very well. But there's a lot of theatrics. Like I can imagine like a Guilty Gear themed or theme park and have these types of songs playing, if that makes any sense. There's a lot of variety, and it's just a lot of experimentation. And then you go back a little bit and it's a little heavier with less bells and whistles. And then the older and older you go, it's just like straight rock and metal. Like no funny business. It's just straight rock and roll type of thing. And that's what I really got here. That's what I'm kind of getting at, if you couldn't figure that out. Is that this one had like no nonsense. It was just drums, guitar, shredding, power chords, and just like a good old fashioned time, you know, just rocking out. It's had it was very, well, I said earlier that it sounded kind of happy. That's not very foreign from what I've heard from Guilty Gear, but I haven't experienced it that like happy and joyous. So I don't know if that's connected to a character or a certain part. I think just about everything I've heard has been tied to a character. I'm not sure if I've heard anything that's not. So if it is attached to a character, then that is, you know, very jolly and sounds very positive, uplifting. And that's why I said it sounded kind of like promotional material. But, you know, at the end of the day, it was quite simple as far as like chord structure, just chug power chords, and just some harmonies here and there, and then of course like a nice little lead solo. But you can tell the quality is like totally different. It sounds like almost more punk. It's very aggressive. Whereas you know, now in Strive and later titles, it's a lot more compact and just mixed really well amongst all the instruments. So that's pretty much all I got from that. Drunkard does make wise remarks. And then let me know more about, I think what I'm most curious about is the sound complete box that I see here. What game is this from originally? Does it keep returning? Is it attached to a character, etc., etc., etc. And also, just to go off one more thing, based on what I said earlier, Guilty Gear, from what I've noticed, their fans are a little split. You know, like, yeah, they can live amongst themselves because they play the game, but there's definitely like mixed opinions on soundtracks. It's almost the same as Mortal Kombat fans, you know, like people really like the old stuff. That's anything that's been around for a while, right? And then some people only listen to like the newer stuff. I don't know how, but it seems the same thing with Guilty Gear. They're like, oh man, it's no longer like brutal or whatever the case may be, or now it sounds better, you know. I just think it's cool to hear metal in games, regardless, especially fighting games. So I don't really have an opinion on that because I'm not attached to the game in that way. I didn't grow up with it, so my opinion is kind of void. I just like the music. I'm a guitar player. Thank you to Sir Caliber, which I'm assuming that might be a Soul Calibur reference. And thanks to everyone that you see here. I cannot be here without them. Thanks to the Guilty Gear community, who still comes in numbers. This game has a lot of bangers. Thanks to you for watching. My name is Jesse in the auditorium. I hope you have a great evening, day, night. Take it easy.